Hi, this is Aaron Reed, Systems Engineer here at VergeIO, and today I'm going to take you through an upgrade to upgrade a 2-node VergeIO cluster. So first thing we'll do is we'll log in. That lets me into my system. Here you can see I'm on my Reed cloud. I have 6 virtual machines. I don't have any tenants up and running. I have 3 out of 9 networks that are turned on, 1 cluster, and again with 2 nodes. So before I start my upgrade, I'm going to bring it up again here. And I'm going to log into one of the virtual machines so we can kind of monitor the process of what that looks like as we're doing the upgrade. And I'm going to come back here to another tab, and I'm going to go into System. Now this is the process that starts the upgrade. So I'll go into System, come down here to Updates. Now here you can see a new minor version is available on a different branch. To change this branch, click the Change Branch menu. So what that means is I have my upgrade settings. If I go into my settings, and I have it auto check for updates. If I didn't have auto check for updates, I would just have to check the updates button. So if I come back here, I would check for updates. And then that would pop up that banner if it saw a new branch. So what we're going to do now is we're going to change the branch. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Change Branch. Are you sure you want to change the newest branch of the system? Yes. And now down here on the screen, you can see my mouse clicking over the highlights. It says 492 can go to 4.10.2. And that's on our YB, our YB help, and our YB OS. And then if you look over here, you can see the branch stable 4.9. We're going to upgrade it to 4.10.2. VergeIO Cloud Software Stack, integrated help and documentation, and then VergeIO operating systems. So then the next thing I'm going to do is, now that I've basically checked the branch and brought it down, is I can download the branch here. So I'm going to go ahead and download. Are you sure you want to download all the updates on this system? Yes. Here you can see our circle, our spinning time circle refreshing, and now it says downloading. And then it's retrieving those 3 files in the list showed right down here in the list below. And we'll just give this a few seconds to download the files. Shouldn't take too long. I have a pretty good connection. I think the files in total aren't any bigger than a gigabyte in size. Once the download's ready, it should allow us to go right into install to start the upgrade. So now here you can see that my download has been completed. I have the little floppy disk icon, which I love, brings you way back, old school, that the download's completed, and now we can install the environment. So with a 2-node cluster, what it'll do is it'll basically start with the first node, and then it'll walk to and after it puts the first node in maintenance mode, moves the VMs off the first node, it'll update the first node. And then once the first node is updated and rebooted, it'll bring the VMs back onto the first node, and then it'll go to the second node. Totally updated process. The other nice thing about this is right now we're updating not just the hypervisor, KVM and QEMU, but we're updating the management console that you see here, or dashboard. We're also updating our vSAN and all of the services within inside of the environment. So one simple single update to do. So I'm going to go ahead and click install. Are you sure you want to install the updates on this system? Yes. And now it says installing package.json. See, idle reboot required VergeIO updates. So that was fairly quick. So we're going to go ahead and get reboot, or do a reboot. Are you sure you want to reboot and apply updates on this system? Yes. And here you can see it says putting node 1 in maintenance mode. That's what I was just talking about earlier, where we'll actually take the node and put it in maintenance mode. Now, if I go to a different tab, here you can see I have a VM that's up and running. If I go into my Reed clouds, I go to my nodes. Here you can see node 1 is migrating. That means it's migrating all the VMs off of node 1 onto node 2. If I go onto node 2, or I go back to let's go back to my virtual machines, and I look at my list of virtual machines, now I can see that all my virtual machines are on node 2 except for this last one, and that last one just changed over, or the first one on my list. And here you can see, if I go back here, I can see putting node 1 into maintenance mode. So it's still going through its maintenance mode process. Let's go ahead and refresh. Oh, it refreshed it for me automatically. I go into my Windows console, and that's that Windows 2019. You can see there's been no reboots. I can bring up my browser. I've got full access to everything in the environment. There you go. And then I come back here where my update's actually running. And here it says putting node 1 in maintenance mode again. It's still applying that. If I click down to my nodes, some operational warnings, online redundancy. It shows that I have 1 out of 2 nodes that are operational. It says node 1 is stopped. So it's literally switched everything over to node 2. I'm still in my management console access or my management dashboard, so that hasn't gone down. And if I come back over here, it's just going to go through its process. We'll go System, Updates, and here you can see applying, waiting for node 1 to come out of maintenance mode. So it's applying the update now, and it's basically going to wait for the node 1 to come out of maintenance mode. Once node 1 comes out of maintenance mode, it should take all the VMs from node 2 and move them over to node 1, so they can now take node 2 and upgrade node 2. And here you can see down here, we're still on version 4.92. Obviously, this one says 4.12 or 10.2 now. But the main version for the browser is 4.92. And we've actually updated some of the UI in the environment. So some of the colors and logos should change as we go through this upgrade. So let's give it a quick check on see how our update's going. If I click on Read Cloud here I can see now that I have 2 over 2 nodes, meaning that both my nodes should be online, but it looks like one is still leaving maintenance mode. Like I said before, when you do the reboot on one of the server systems, as you all probably know, it can take a while to have that done. So now node 1 is up and running, so it should be fully functional now. That means all the cluster services should be back on node 1. And here you can see right below that migrating, so node 2, we're now migrating the VMs off of node 2 onto node 1 so that we can apply the update to node 2. And to do that, if we just click here on node 1, to verify that, if I come here, I can see drives, NICs, memory modules, the running services I have, and then the running virtual machines. I can also verify that by just going back to my cloud, going to my machines, clicking on my virtual machines, and now it shows that all my virtual machines are on node 1. And I can take that a step further to see how my virtual machines are doing. I can go into my first virtual machine, bring up the console, and again, as you can see, nothing is offline, everything's up and running. And I'm going right into my browser here, bringing up our website, VergeIO, good stuff. Let's go back to our Read Cloud. Let's check on our update. So here you can see it's the update message has changed. For the status message, applying, waiting for node 2 to come out of maintenance mode. Again, this can take a while depending on how long it takes for node 2 to reboot. Now that it's migrated all the VMs. Here you can see the status in the logs down towards the bottom of the frame here where my mouse is. And then we'll just go ahead and give this a few minutes to go through its process, and then we'll come back to it. Aha! Another thing to mention during the upgrade process is now that the first node, the first controller is upgraded, and everything's been moved back to it, you can see the new updates from 4.9.2 to 4.10.2. Here we have the new VergeIO logo. We have the new color schema with a dark gray background or charcoal title for our tiles. And then if you highlight over the tiles in the left-hand menu bar here, you can see the colors have changed as well. So there you go. Node 1 is already updated, the service has already been rebooted, and we're in a newer system. Now we're just waiting for the other node 2 to go through its process. And then all over here, to verify it, down at the bottom left, you can see version 4.10.2. As well as you can see here, all of my versions have changed to 4.10.2. Go ahead and refresh this guy. There you go. Still the same status. Looks like we have one update on the update where it says it's idle. I believe at this point it has been completed. Let's double check though. We'll go to here. Yep, we'll go to 2 nodes. we have both my nodes up and running now. And then if I go back to my Read Cloud tab here, and then I can go into my VMs, virtual machines here. Here, the cool thing is now I can see all 6 of my virtual machines again, and I have them load balanced across nodes 1 and then nodes 2 right here, right? So basically what we did is we downloaded the latest batch file for the update. We applied or installed the update, and that kicked off the nodes in the cluster to go into maintenance mode, which they automatically did. And as part of the maintenance mode process, they moved VMs off of that node when it was getting upgraded. And then once the node was back online, they moved the VMs back on and did the same process for the second node. And that's it. We've basically just went through the upgrade process of upgrading a VergeIO cluster. All good to go. But thanks for joining, and we'll see you on the next one.